Everybody, it's Mark Schultz, and hey, listen, real quick, I'm going to make sure you know that it's me right here, okay? And we are live, and I'm here with Larry Little, and we are live at the Museum of Flight, okay, in Seattle, Washington. Unfortunately, their regulations are, their restrictions are, is that we need to be wearing a mask. And here I'm with my business associate, Dean Cameron. Hey, Dean, how are you?
I'm doing great, Mark and Larry. How are you guys doing today?
We're doing good.
Really good.
Dean, where are you located?
Well, we're in Spokane. I'm at the Historic Flight Foundation at Phelps Field in Spokane. It's a World War II and before air museum of completely aircraft. Amazing facility.
That's fantastic. Hey, Dean, just so people know who you are and what you do and kind of what your background is, can you tell us real quickly, Dean, what you do in your business?
You bet. I am the CEO publisher of Aerospace News magazine, and we basically love to tell the stories of the people that actually make the components for aircraft. So the machinists and sheet metal workers and composites, electronics, we offer a platform to share their story on an international basis. And I have a 30-year career in commercial aerospace manufacturing, and so it's a natural transition. We really enjoy being able to share the content that we do.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, good. Listen, for those of you that are watching now, I see we got people that are starting to watch our broadcast here today. And hey, if you want to tell us where you are, we can actually see the comments here, and we'd like to know where you're watching from. And as you might see in the post that comes out with this broadcast, is we're going to do a little bit of a virtual tour of the Museum of Flight here in Seattle. And also, Dean, tell me the name of the museum again.
His Flight Foundation at
the
Phelps
Historic
Field.
Flight Foundation. Okay, excellent. The Historic Flight Foundation. Perfect. And we're going to walk around and let you guys see a little bit of the airplanes that are out there. But we're watching your comments, and if you have any questions for us today, hey, pop them out there. Hey, listen, why are we doing this? Larry and I are part of a group called Digital Aircraft, #Digital Aircraft. And we have for the last year been promoting recovery in aviation. We really want to continue to promote recovery. Things are actually opening up here in the U.S., so we're actually at the museums. That's really fantastic. And we want to continue to promote aviation. We want it to be successful. And so the things we've been doing for the last year are to promote aviation. Hey, listen, I see we got people joining us. I got Matt Churches. He's joined us from the UK. Hey, great to have you with us today, Matt. If anybody else is out there watching, I know there are, drop a little name in there and tell us where you are, and we'll acknowledge you as we go, all right? Hey, listen, let's just start out here. Larry, can you tell people where we are right now?
Well, right now, we're in the cargo bay of a shuttle, NASA shuttle. This is actually a simulator.
It's a ground trainer is what it is.
Okay,
yeah, right, yeah.
So we're in the cargo bay, and as you can see above us, it's called the internal upper stage that they moved around with the arm, and it's actually the internal upper stage was a Boeing product, and they were doing training, moving this thing around. And we're here this morning here just to kind of, well, there's a new spaceship on Mars, so that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And just yesterday, or I think it was day before yesterday, they launched that little helicopter there, on Mars, and it was a historic thing for that to be the first flight on Mars,
Exactly.
But what we're in is a ground station trainer, and what this ground station trainer is that it was built in order for them to be able to practice using this arm you see up here. Up on the top ledge up here, you see an arm. And what they did is they used that to be able to actually bring cargo in and out of the cargo bay. And way up above me there, you might be able to see it. There's a scale model of the Hubble telescope up there. And the articulating arm actually was able to grab that. And I think what they did, Larry, if I remember correctly, is they brought it into the cargo bay, and then they fixed the lens optics on it and then put it back out again.
That's right.
I think if I remember that correctly. Dean, do you remember that? Is that what they did?
Yeah, that's correct. They had problems with this, and they worked to do lens. It was a real tedious process, but they were very successful.
Yeah. So really interesting, because around us here we have different things which really represent space, which is pretty exciting. I've always been interested in space. Hey, Dean, when I was a kid, I'm old, all right? I remember sitting on my elbows in front of the television watching the first moon landing, okay? And that was pretty exciting for me, to be able to see them put the feet on the ground, for the first moon landing. And that tells you how old I am. and it's just cool to be able to see these kind of things being commemorated, over the years. The space here right now.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It's amazing. I was of the black and white TV watching the moon landing, and when we needed to change the channel, I was the channel changer. We had 14, so I just aged myself.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. Hey, we got some more of my friends that are joining us out there. We have Onir Kandar, who's actually does some work for Turkish Technique out there. And welcome, Onir. Glad to see you on board. And we have Mohammed. Mohammed, thanks for joining us. He's joining us from Algeria. Fantastic. We always love people joining us from really all around the world. It's exciting to be able to see that. And we have Mulanji. He doesn't say where he's from, but welcome, Mulanji. Glad to have you on board with us. And it's really fun to be able to communicate with people really all around the world. I have Richard Ziskland, and Richard, he operates luxury aircraft. Crystal Sky is what he says. And I've seen you do a lot of posts, Richard, and I'm looking forward maybe one day to having you on one of our live broadcasts. I think that would be a lot of fun, actually, Richard.
I have to say, Richard, I saw one craft at Moses Lake in one time that the folks were out there, amazing aircraft.
Okay, fantastic. All right. Well, listen, let's do a little walk around here. And first thing, before we come down out of the cargo bay, Larry mentioned to me that over my shoulder up here right now, we actually have up here in the sky. Let me see if I can get it into view up there. Let me see. Where is it there? Do I have it up there? I'm having trouble here. The other way? Oh, yeah. It's up there. Oh, there it is. Wait, no, I'm not there. I'm up there. Where am I? Up there. Okay, there we are. See it up there? All right, okay. Larry was telling me that he knew a little something about this Virgin Galactic, this Spaceship One. It's a Paul Allen project, and it says something in the bottom corner there. Larry, you were telling us about the composites on that up there.
Dean, you mentioned that you worked with composite suppliers. There was a company called Scaled Composites that really was a pioneer, really one of the foremost pioneers in composite aircraft manufacture, and really they built this Starship One or Spaceship One. They also were responsible for a lot of the human-powered airplanes that were built and some of the solar-powered airplanes that were built. So it was interesting to me to walk in and see Scaled Composites on the tail of that airplane.
Really cool.
Amazing technology. Just the innovation is happening daily in the composites industry.
It really is. It's pretty amazing. Now, Dean, as we're going to walk down out of this cargo bay down to the ground, I was hoping that you would tell us what's behind you. What are we seeing in the museum where you are?
Well, so this E-25, it is named Grumpy. All of the planes here at the Historic Flight Foundation are airworthy. Every plane here has been flown in. And for my friend who just joined us, I'm going to walk over here real quick because I think he'll really enjoy this aircraft coming up. We have T6. We have Steerman biplanes. We have a stagger wing aircraft. But for my friend from you might enjoy the Spitfire.
Oh, you got what there? You got a Spitfire behind you? Okay.
That's the Spitfire behind me.
Okay.
For that's the iconic plane over in the islands over there. And on the other side of the floor over here, Mark, you mentioned this is one of your favorite aircraft. Takes me a second to get over there, but the aircraft here are just amazing. I mean, it's nut and bolt restoration, continual maintenance. They're just absolutely gorgeous. So we'll walk over here kind of quickly.
Hey, while you're walking over there, just quickly going to recognize a few more people that have joined us. We have Ricardo joining us from Brazil. Welcome, Ricardo. I hope you're able to see some interesting things here today. And we also have Clayton from Brazil. So we pretty much have representation from Latin America, from Europe, from Africa right now, and from the U.S. And so we usually get people joining our broadcast from all around the world, which is really pretty cool. Yep. So anyway, now what do we have behind you there, Dean?
Well, we have a P-51, and the story behind this P-51, basically sat in a mud bog. It had crashed. It's a World War II aircraft, and it was in very sad shape. When they brought it out, restored this entire aircraft. It is airworthy. John Stations, the owner, flies it around the world. The name of this aircraft is called the Impatient Virgin. So
nice.
Okay, all right. Well, Dean, you called it. The P-51 is definitely my favorite airplane. And later today, Larry and I are going to walk over to the World War II Museum here in the Museum of Flight here and take a look at the P-51s. There's a couple of them over there. But Dean, it's always been one of my dreams to have a flight in that airplane. So, one day here, I'm going to have to buy myself a seat in that one of those airplanes there. So,
John does do flights, and you can buy a seat in some of his aircraft. So there's also, it's not here today, but he has a DC-3, and that's like flying in a luxury, lay down seats and couches. It's absolutely incredible.
That's really great. That's really cool. Hey, we're looking at two different ends of the spectrum here, Dean. We're looking at, aircraft that were from World War II, and we're looking at space, here on our side. And some of the stuff we're looking at is a little bit dated. It's from the, 60s, 70s, and 80s. But it's really interesting to see how much advancement there's been over the years. Dean, look over our shoulder here right now. Do you know what this is?
That looks like a diving bell, but was that used for training purposes?
You know what? It kind of looks like a cannonball, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's actually the Soviet space capsule. And the reason that it looks like that is because on re-entry, it basically burns off the exterior in order to be able to absorb the heat on the way in. And it's really pretty amazing. And there's the gentleman here that they talk about is Charles Simonyi. He actually bought a ticket 2 times into space. He was the first commercial space travel, and he was able to get into space. And this is what he wrote in. Can you believe that? Can you take a look? Can you guys take a look inside of that and see what that looks like?
That's claustrophobia defined right there.
That is claustrophobia right there. That is absolutely claustrophobia. No question about that. But it's really pretty crazy to think that that was actually sent up into space and came back, in re-entry like that. Yeah. So anyway, what are you standing behind now?
Right behind me is a Steerman biplane.
Okay.
And it was still is. There's several of them out here at Phelps Field. I'll be sitting out on my deck in the summertime, and there'll be a formation of 6 or 8 of them flying over, and looks like a World War I bombing raid.
Nice.
My dad, he's 93 years old now, and a couple of years ago, a friend bought him a ride in an open cockpit biplane, and it was really the ride of his life because I think he was 91 years old. And he was able to go up into an open cockpit biplane ride. And the reason I tell that story is because it's really his inspiration that got me involved in aviation.
Right. Yeah, they actually sell seats on this particular plane. So come on over and you can live his father's dream.
Fantastic. Well, hey, what else can you show us over there?
Well, I'll walk around here real quick. This is an absolutely gorgeous aircraft, and it's called a stagger wing.
Yep, a Beech stagger wing, right?
Of course, fire engine red. You can't have it in any other color.
Yeah, is that the Beechcraft stagger wing?
Yeah.
Yeah, yep. That's amazing. Yep, it really is.
So, and then we have a Navy plane here. You can tell by the wings that crop up there so that they can fit them on the aircraft carriers.
Yep, that's right. Yep. Is that the Corsair?
No, it's not a Corsair. Let me go walk around. They've got signs on all of these.
Okay.
I don't want to misstate anything. It's a Bearcat, and they don't have a sign on it. So
Okay. All right. Well, listen, Larry and I, we stepped outside, and I don't know if you guys know this or not, but at this museum, there's an entire outside exhibit of aircraft. Now, right now, we're standing in front of a B-17 right here. Look at this behind me. We got a B-17 right behind us right now.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of flying in a B-17 here a couple of years ago. And if you want to ever talk about the greatest generation, imagine that the average.
Larry's made himself a friend right here, right now. So, yeah.
He's going to teach me how to fly this thing today.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So anyway, Dean,
Mark,
I'm sorry.
Right behind you here is the airplane you were taking down the MRO, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah. So, Larry just pointed out that this airplane behind me is the one I'm going to take down to the MRO on Monday. It's right here. Do you recognize it?
Yeah.
It's the SST.
Yeah.
It's the supersonic transport.
You'll need to walk up that. You'll need to walk up that gantry and see what it looks like on the inside.
Yep. So actually, it's the British Airways Concorde, and you know what? I had the pleasure of watching a Concorde take off when I was in school, in A&P school, in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I have no idea why there was a Concorde landing in Tulsa, Oklahoma, but there was a Concorde that took off. And one of the things I remember the most about it is the when they put it into afterburner, I remember the flames that were coming out of the tail of it. Some aircraft taking off around us here, so yeah. So let's see if we can get a little better picture of this Concorde here. You can see a little bit behind it here. It's a little bit hard to see because we're underneath it right now, but this is the Concorde behind me right here.
Amazing aircraft, and the technology goes back into the 50s and 60s. It's amazing.
Now, look at what we have here in front of us. B-29.
I've actually sat in the pilot's seat of that aircraft.
Have you really? This very aircraft here?
That very aircraft.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. It's really interesting how big they are. Look I'm going to go stand up against it. And you can see Larry come over by me so people can see how tall it is. So you see Larry just barely comes up to the belly of the aircraft here. Yeah. Yep. So we have this B-29 out here. And then actually right here we have it's a Boeing 247. That's what it is. Looks a little bit like a B-18 or something, so. But guys, the really interesting thing about being out here in this museum is there are so many different airplanes. There's just so much history that's here. And if you look over to the left here, we have one of the early Air Force One aircraft that's right here. Mm-hmm. And they have a picture of, looks like they have Nixon here standing in front of this Air Force One right here. Yeah. All these different aircraft that we have here. I want to take you back for a minute to the 787, okay? Larry and I have some experience on the 787.
Yeah, this was actually one of the flight test airplanes. I think it says here on the nose number 3. So this was one of the original flight test airplanes that they donated to the museum.
To the museum? Yeah. Okay. So here we are, guys, and Larry, maybe stand by so people can see you.
Look at the size of this engine.
Yeah. Here we have Larry standing by the engine inlet of the 787.
The size of the thing is
it's massive. Staggering. Yeah, it's massive. And these have the Rolls-Royce engines in them, I think they do. Yeah. Yep. So it's really pretty amazing to see this. So Larry and I are going to do a little bit of some videos this week, and we're going to do some broadcasting about some of the technology behind some of these airplanes, and talk a little bit about documentation and some of the digital components of it. See, they actually talk about this aircraft here on the board here about it. They talk about this aircraft being in the digital age, and that's really exactly it. This aircraft has really become of digital, and supporting it from a digital standpoint becomes an important part of actually doing maintenance on the airplane. Is taking care of all the digital parts and the digital software parts and the digital manuals and all the different things that make it up. So anyway, there's really an amazing collection of aircraft here, and I'm going to show you guys one more airplane, Dean, and then I'm going to let you show us a couple, and then I'm going to let you go. Okay?
All right, sounds good.
It's too exciting for us here because there's just airplanes and airplanes and airplanes, and we could probably talk all day long.
That's a day event at that museum.
It really is. It's a whole day. So behind me here right now, we have an early 747. I think this is an SP, isn't it? Or is it a prototype? What is it? Yeah. It's not. It's one of the early ones. It's 747 prototype. And so it's really an early. It's from 1969, actually. You guys can see it here. Another really big airplane. So, hey, now, what was that aircraft you were behind? Did you say you had a Spitfire behind you there? What was behind you?
The one behind me right here is a Bearcat.
A Bearcat. Okay.
Right.
Didn't you have a Spitfire that was close by?
Yep. Yeah, the Spitfire right just a little down the hangar here. But what we're going to do, we're going to walk underneath the B-25. So you'll see, actually, here's the inside of the B-25.
Okay.
And as we continue our little walk here, the Spitfire is right behind me.
Very nice, very nice. Now, you guys were talking earlier when we were sort of prepping here about there was an incident recently with a Spitfire, wasn't there? What happened?
No, actually, it's a T6, and it was down in California at an air show. And they lost power and had to do an emergency landing. And rather than try and do that on the land, they did a water landing just off of the beach, far enough to not hit any people that were on the beach, but basically skipped it like a rock on the water. Safe landing. Everybody got out okay.
You know, Dean, I saw that video, and it was amazing the job that pilot did, not to have that thing go head over heels and just bring it in there. I mean, obviously the airplane is not in good shape, but what a great job he did landing that thing.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when problems happen like that, you have to make the best of a bad situation.
Yeah, well, you know, one of the things for certain is that we're all trying to promote safety in aviation. And, you know, I don't like to sensationalize things, but it was a recent event. And so I just wanted to bring it up. And I think that all of us are working toward, you know, safe and effective air travel. It's such an important part, you know, of all of our systems. And, you know, those of you that are watching right now, I just wanted to let you know that I'm going to be down at the MRO Americas next week. And what's significant about that is that is actually, you know, I think that's probably the first aviation conference event in the U.S. here, you know, in the last year or so. And I'm looking forward to doing it to be able to meet some people. I'm going to do some live broadcasts down there. And I wanted to welcome you to join me next week on Tuesday and Wednesday as I do some of those live broadcasts. And it's going to be really pretty exciting to be able to reconnect with people and to begin to, you know, go from only doing Zoom calls and connections, you know, to being able to actually connect with people, you know, directly. So I wanted to invite those of you who are watching to join me at the MRO next week. Tuesday and Wednesday, I'll be doing different live broadcasts, you know, from time to time over those 2 days to really connect with people. Hey, Dean, we should connect up during that time too.
Absolutely. Would look forward to it, guys.
Yeah, that'd be good. Hey, Dean, tell us real quick, your company, you have a couple different companies, but one of the things you do is you help companies get their word out in the industry, you know, through your digital and print magazines. Can you tell people about that real quick?
You bet. So Northwest Aerospace News Magazine, you know, we, again, focus on the manufacturers, the people that make the parts. Along with our print magazine, we have digital subscribers, of course, for the digital magazine. We distribute to about 8,800 people around the world. We also include and are doing a lot of work with video introduction to not only the digital magazine, but through QR code technology in the print magazine. And then recently we acquired a company called Aerospace Vendors. Aerospace Vendors is basically a repository for your company information, all of your certifications, a description, videos, photos, everything that would be a description of, you know, what you do and who you do it for. And then there is a specific URL so that you can copy that and send it in an email and give a very quick and concise message to a potential client, partner, or somebody that's inquiring about your company.
That's great, Dean. And, you know, for those of you that might be looking for new and creative ways to get your message out in the industry, if you're in the aerospace industry or aviation, reach out to Dean because he has a really big reach and is able to reach a lot of people. And when we're all trying to figure out how to get our message out about our business, we're looking for new and creative ways to do it. And Dean and Northwest Aerospace News is definitely a way to do that. Hey, also feel free to reach out to me. And Larry and I are really helping people through live broadcasts and different things like this to be able to get their message out. And we'd love to be able to connect with you and maybe feature your business in a live broadcast like this. Hey, Dean, before I let you go, do you got a minute to do just a little bit more walk around?
Yeah, you bet.
Let's
you
just
bet.
do it.
Now
Let's just do it. Let's just
here's
walk
another
around.
aircraft.
Yeah, tell us what you got around behind you.
You bet. So this is a de Havilland Beaver behind me.
Cool.
And of course it has military markings on it, so it's used in the military.
Okay.
Along with, this is called a grasshopper. This is a small, light little, I believe, reconnaissance plane. And then for those of you who are curious about the technology, let me get over here real quick. Here, you wonder what powers these. And so here's a couple of examples of the engines that power these aircraft.
What vintage are those? Is there anything there that says how old those are?
These are, yeah, there is. Hang on here. This one here, this Rolls-Royce engine, first test run was October 27th, 1944.
1944. Okay, all right.
1944. And then this double wasp engine here. Its first power aircraft, 1939.
Okay. Hey, Dean, is that museum open to the public right now?
It is. It is. They're open from 10 to 4, and I believe it's Thursday through Sunday.
Okay. And
it's
likewise, likewise, the museum here is open Thursday through Sunday, I think, and 10 o'clock to something in the evening, but similar kind of a situation.
Hey, Mark, let's take a look at this.
Yeah.
The one helicopter is here.
We got a couple of military aircraft here we want to show you. There's a Chinook over here.
So, Mark, have you ever been inside one of these things when the rotors are going?
I have not.
Oh, so if you've ever been in a helicopter, they're really noisy. Now, you take that noise and you multiply it by 2 times.
Double it.
These are huge rotors. When both those things get going, and is that thing a rattle trap?
Noisy.
It's noisy. And
CH-47. Does it say what year it is, Larry? 1959. That was the year I was born. Did I just say that?
Yeah.
1959.
Perfect, right? The capability of these things is amazing.
It's incredible. 1959. And then next to us, I think we have an F-14 here, don't we? Yeah, F-14 right here. The famous F-14. We're all hoping that the next Top Gun movie comes out. That's where I really paid attention to the F-14s back within the Top Gun days.
Exactly.
Yep. And then what do we have here? I don't know this airplane right here. A6.
A6.
Here we have an A6.
Which is a Navy bomber.
Navy bomber and A6. Very good. And then we got a couple more here quick that we'll talk about.
2 A6s.
Yeah. A couple of A6s here. 2 of them. And here's one that I want to talk about here. Over here we have an F4. This was the Blue Angels F4. Let me show you this one. So a couple of interesting things here. We have an Aviate, or we have a Harrier over here. That was one of the early, vertical takeoff aircraft right there behind us. And I worked at McDonnell Douglas Aircraft Company in the 1984, 85, 86, 87 era. And it's the first time I ever saw one of those was taken off from the ramp right behind the manufacturing plant. And it was pretty cool to be able to see that thing go straight up and take off. And then the reason I wanted to show this Blue Angels F4, or is it F4 and A4? I don't know. Anyway, but the reason I wanted to show this is because I was on the first F-18 Blue Angels program. They were flying this aircraft, and they switched over to the F-18 in the late 1980s. And I was actually working on that program at McDonnell Douglas in the late 80s. So that has some special interest to me as well. So,
and then also now the Blue Angels are flying the brand new F-18 Super Hornet.
Yeah,
that's right.
Exactly. Right. All right. Well, listen, I think we've given people a bit of a tour, and I wanted to invite you guys to reach out and attend some of these really cool museums that are out there. And Dean, tell them again the name of the museum and where it is.
It is the Historic Flight Foundation at Phelps Field in Spokane Valley, Washington.
Fantastic. And Larry and I are at the Museum of Flight in Seattle, and it's right here on Boeing Field, pretty close to downtown, just south of downtown Seattle. So it's really been great to have everybody here. Dean, it's been fantastic.
Mark, what is your email address if they want to reach you? Because I'll give them mine if they want to reach me.
Oh, well, go ahead and give them yours. And the best way to get a hold of me is on my LinkedIn account where they're watching this podcast. But give them your email address.
All right. Yeah, if anybody needs any information from me, my email is Dean, D-E-A-N, at northwestaerospacenews.com. Spell it all out.
Okay, fantastic. Hey, listen, I gotta give some credit here where it's due. My wife actually joined us, and she's right there. And the reason I want to give some credit is because she actually worked on the F-18 program with me. That's where I met her at McDonnell Douglas back in 1984. So, Susan, wouldn't have been the same without you. Yeah.
The brains behind the operation.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So she's actually an aerospace. Well, she actually is an engineer, and she did operations engineering at McDonnell Douglas many years ago. All right, everybody. Hey, thanks for joining us, Larry. We really had a great discussion here today. Dean, thank you so much for joining us. It was really fun.
You bet, guys. Take care and travel safe.
All right, fair winds and following seas to all of you watching. I look forward to seeing you next week on Tuesday and Wednesday as I'm at the MRO Americas in person in Orlando. I hope to see you online. Bye now.
Bye now. Take care.